Hi everybody, Ira Miller here with the Ira Miller podcast. And we want to thank you so much for joining us today and watching our podcast. As you can see, we're from I Am Realty and Homes Around the Villages YouTube channel. And so we want to thank you for joining us on our podcast today. So today we have some special guests that I worked with probably about 2 years ago. And just to explain a little bit, they were from Knoxville, Tennessee. Well, maybe not from, but they were living in Knoxville, Tennessee for about 27 years. And then they ended up calling me because they wanted to move to this area of Florida. And they actually did not move to the villages. They moved to on top of the world. So I want to have a little diverse, group of people that I'm doing podcasts with, and I thought they would be great guests to come in and talk about their little journey and how they decided to move where they moved. So if you'd like to explain to our viewing audience how you came about coming to this part of Florida.
Go ahead, Marcy, with your story of hurricane avoidance.
Yes. So I wanted to move back to Florida. I'm originally from Florida. I'm from West Palm Beach. And I knew I didn't want to go there because I lived through a couple hurricanes. And once you live through a couple hurricanes, I didn't want to be on either coast. Even though the coasts are beautiful, I didn't want to be on either coast. So we kind of drove around by ourselves a little bit through the center of Florida. And then we ended up watching some podcasts. We were originally thinking about getting a mobile home in one of the mobile home parks in Sebring, but the lot rent there was $1,000 a month, and I said, that is just not good investment to pay that much money for the lot rent, and it could go up. So we were watching YouTube videos, and we watched a few people, and Mark, you can go ahead.
And we ended up with you, Ira, because of your credentials as a broker, a builder, and a home inspector, and also your knowledge of the area.
Great.
Yeah.
So you went ahead and gave us a call?
Yes, we did. Yeah. I think we contacted you probably via email.
Okay.
And very, very easy. Got hooked up with the relationship with you, and you did a heck of a job selling us a home when we were remote in Knoxville, and then
Yes.
we also moved into my sister's place in Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Okay, and how did we start out? We started out with south of here, actually, in the Leesburg area.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We looked at Highlands Lakes, the plantations, and of course took a brief run through the villages, decided that was too much hubbub, too many circles, too many people, and it wasn't as rural and country as Knoxville was.
And I remember saying, when Ira was driving us around, I was looking around and I said, where's the grocery stores? Where's the shopping? And Ira said, okay, you want Ocala. Because I could tell by the questions that people ask, I can tell what they're looking for. So then we started to go to Ocala, and I went to school for 4 years in Gainesville. So I am familiar with the area somewhat. I didn't have a car when I lived in Gainesville, so I didn't actually drive here, but it's only 45 minutes away from Ocala, and the trees are about the same. It's just a very beautiful area, I think. And I just liked Ocala. It was laid back and very easy. Everything was on one road, 200, which now is getting more crowded, so that does have some drawbacks, but nevertheless. So we decided we liked that, and then we went to Oak Run, because I honestly thought that we would end up in Oak Run, because Oak Run is a little cheaper, and it also is another pretty big community, 55 plus community, and we went to Oak Run, and I just remember thinking the place was run down a little bit. Not to say Oak Run is not a good place to live, excuse me, but they don't have as many rules on how often they have to paint their homes like they do and on top of the world. So just for me, On Top of the World, I just liked it a little bit better. And On Top of the World has so many things that we liked, like classes and the pools and tons of activities, over 100 clubs. So that's why we picked On Top of the World. And Ira went to, because we were in Knoxville, I would look on to see what was for sale, and Ira went to several places for us and would go inside and walk around and take a video of it for us, because we couldn't keep driving back and forth from Knoxville to Ocala to look at every single house, and there wasn't that many homes for sale at that time. It was at the peak, so it was kind of at the point where we would look at a place and like the next day it was sold. So was our experience. So we made Ira run over there if we saw anything we liked. And then when we finally did like the house that we bought, I told Ira, before we could even come down and see it, I said, just go ahead and put an offer in. And then he came up with a deal that we had like a week to come down and see the place and decide if we actually wanted to live there. And that's how we bought our house.
Yeah, Ira did recorded walkthroughs and also live, which was really cool via, I guess, WhatsApp, where we could ask him questions as he was going. So, a real steady Eddie. I was waiting for him to say, you know what, you're running me around too much, forget it. But he hung in there, and we're very pleased.
He even got on a ladder and checked one of the lights because it was flickering or something.
Yeah.
And so we felt good because we knew he had done construction before, and so he was looking at our place. And I mean, we did hire a formal inspection, but he before that looked at our place and kind of gave us an idea, like, these are good windows, they look pretty new, the roof we knew was going to have to be replaced soon because that's what Ira told us, and things like that even though we weren't there, we had a pretty good feel of what we were getting ourselves into.
And the house that we found for you in 2022, that was coming right out of the pandemic, and everybody was moving to Florida, and housing was just flying off the market. We had to be very diligent, jump right on it. Whenever you found something, I needed to go right out there and get that video done so we can go ahead and make an offer right away. And I think 2022, I sold 54 homes, I believe, with $23 million worth of homes in 2022. It was just an incredibly crazy real estate market at that time. So
yeah, we sold at the top of the market, well, pretty much the top of the market in Knoxville, and definitely the top of the market here in Ocala. That's $60,000 over asking price in Knoxville, and had to pay $20,000, I believe, over asking price here in Ocala. But it was worth it, and there wasn't that much inventory, and we were homeless. So Ira to the rescue.
So the house that we did buy was one of the older ones in On Top of the World. It's the ones that are attached units.
Villas.
So one of the first ones that On Top of the World started developing when they started that community. And so, I went around, and if I remember correctly, this one was pretty well upgraded.
Yeah, it
Yes.
had luxury vinyl plank throughout, a new paint job, and
New windows.
and new windows. Yeah, so very nice windows. It's very quiet.
And pretty new appliances, and all the light fixtures have been updated.
Yeah.
Right.
We're in the Americana section. That was the first section, I guess, that Sid Coleman built. And the model we're in is the Bostonian expanded, which we have talked to several people that live there, and they say it's the best layout because of the open kitchen concept before it was a thing, because the house was built in, 94?
Mm-hmm.
So we're up to date even though it's that old.
Yeah, and what about the roof?
And the roof, we got the notification that it's going to be replaced. They, On Top of the World, supposedly put out 15 bids to 15 contractors. 5 responded, and only 2 did the spec, quoted to the spec. So we're due in the next year or so for the roof replacement.
Okay. And so where you live, it's it's like a condo situation,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
To where the outside is taken care of.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
We're from the drywall in.
Right.
Yeah. However, there are some caveats. Things have changed.
Well, that's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
What are some of the caveats?
The beautiful trees, which people come from all over on top of the world to walk in, because in the summer or even like now, here in March, it's beautiful weather. It's a tunnel of shade,
Mhm.
beautiful trees. The trees used to be pretty much the responsibility of on top of the world, but I guess he realizes they're getting older and it's going to be a lot of money to maintain them and chop them down. So he's put that cost onto the homeowners. So we have to chop down the tree, have it ground,
If we
buy
need to.
a new tree, and then he'll take care of it. Also, they used to repair the driveways if the trees damaged the driveways. Our unit has a slab that was poured, I guess, a couple of years before we moved in. He's no longer taking care of that either.
Hmm.
So it's all you're going to pay for it one way or the other, either in your HOA fee
Right.
or as needed.
But as a shared cost amongst thousands of units,
Hmm.
you know, I would think it wouldn't be
Would have
as.
been nice.
Yes. That's kind of. I'm sitting here thinking, how do you own from the drywall in, but yet now, you know, and they take care of the lawn, right? They do lawn
They
service.
take care of the lawn,
do.
they blow the leaves.
Yeah. So if people want a meticulous yard, this would not be for you. I particularly don't care as long as the yard is green. I don't, because I like kind of natural things. So our yard is not beautiful, but it's green. They're not real meticulous about that. Like our neighbor across the street is a master gardener, and she put in sod
On
in
her own.
on her own and takes care of the lawn on her own.
You can tell them
Because-
people you can see, do not blow. They have signs, do not blow, do not mow my lawn. And the people.
Oh, really?
The people mow 'em yourself. You get them at customer service. I think there's a small fee for a professional sign. It says no mowing,
Oh wow! I didn't know
and
about that.
just to keep the guys riding mowers off the lawn,
Yeah.
which bring in a weed seed from everyone else's lawn.
Yeah, so I'm not that picky about the outside of the house. It looks fine, but some people are not so happy with it. How they're taking care of the outside. For us, it works fine mostly because Mark is always out there doing stuff anyway.
And that's
So-
what you have to do. I mean, I've actually done videos before with, I remember this one home in particular I did a video on, and I distinctly remember talking about the lawn because the people across the street had a beautiful, nice green, it's St. Augustine, but St. Augustine requires some care to it, right? And so they'll mow and blow and go. And do they do any kind of fertilizer or weed
Yes.
control?
Yeah.
And that's probably what kind of a time frame?
In the spring, just
So
once
we've
a year?
been off a year cycle, and I only noticed them fertilizing once, probably in the spring.
Yeah, so.
And they do come around too, and they spray, I guess, the perimeter for termites or bugs or whatever.
But the lawns here in Florida, they need, I would tell you, they would need at least 3, if not 4 times a year to be for fertilizer.
Yeah.
And so I do my own. I mean, I've put out a video on my own where I've done my own, and I kind of shared with everybody the stuff that I use, and I use a lot of weed
Yeah,
and
we saw
feed
that.
on my lawn, to keep my lawn going, because it's kind of like they do the bare minimum, and if you really want a little extra, then you're going to have to kind of put a little extra in.
Yeah,
I think-
it's amazing. If you come down from up north or like middle of the United States, Tennessee was clay, hard as a rock when it dried out, and sticky and muddy when it rained. And the sand here, don't be the sand. The soil here looks like sand to me, but it's amazing. It grows stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, you definitely need the weed and feed. I would say quarterly, and again, they're supposed to be doing that, and they mulch as well, right? Don't they?
No,
Spread,
they don't mulch.
They mulch with their mowers, I guess their blades.
I mean, not
And-
mulch. Well,
And then they come in and they blow the leaves as needed. They blow the leaves out of the lawn, so it's basically like dethatching. And they also they blow the roofs off. They were doing that today. The one guy was blowing the leaves off and blowing them into the street, and then they'll suck them up.
yeah.
And one thing, when we had last year, we had something, not a hurricane, but it was a very, very bad storm. And the next morning, I got up just to look and see how everything was. And there was already like 10 men in my yard picking, like little branches off and whatever was on there. They were very good with that.
And this time of the year, I mean, I've been through it. I have two huge oak trees in my yard, but then my neighbors also have oak trees that kind of hang over my yard, so my whole backyard is full of oak trees. And this time of the year in
Yes,
Florida,
very.
they lose all their leaves, and then all of a sudden these pollen
Yeah, we
pods
just went through that. Yep.
come out, and then once they lose their pollen, then all that falls everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I've noticed that they have these huge vacuum trucks
Yeah.
that seem to come along. So, what the lawn people kind of pile it up
Right.
on
They
the
push
in
it
the
in the
road.
street into furrows or whatever in the street, and the guy comes along with the vacuum and pulls it up. Yeah, you can count on the oak trees. I think it's been this year like 3 months of leaves falling.
Yeah,
So
it's tough.
It really helps to keep your car in the garage. But I don't.
Oh
Because-
yeah, with all the pollen.
Yeah, the pollen, the leaves, yeah. I have a boat in my garage and a trailer. So
I'm so happy.
I think I'm gonna sell the trailer. You in the
It's
market
gonna
for
sell
one?
something. It's gonna sell a lot of things, so I can get my car in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, after this year, it's been rough. Especially with the pollen,
Yeah.
allergies. I know.
That was the other thing. Knoxville was in the top 5 of the Allergy Institute's worst area to be in, because they're in the valley. They're up against the Appalachians and the plateau. But we thought Ocala would be a lot better. We always check the air quality. And most of the time Ocala's better, but it can be just as bad here. There's a lot of trees, a lot of pollen.
So, what do you think about On Top of the World in general, as far as recreation goes, the people go, the area where On Top of the World is? I know you said you kind of like it because of all the ruralness around it. You have World Equestrian Center around there. So, what do you think about that?
I love living there. I have a lot of friends, a ton of friends. When I was in Knoxville, I lived in a regular neighborhood with, all families and stuff, and most people stayed inside their homes. But where I am, I can go out, if the weather's decent, I could go out at any time practically and pet a few dogs, talk to my neighbors, sit in someone else's porch. I really like that. I'm a mellow person. I don't have to go all the time. I really like that for me. Also, there's classes. I'm taking a lot of classes there, and they were like $3 a class, and they have all kinds of classes that you could think of. I took a Mahjong class for example, and they have cooking classes and things. One of the things that I'm not happy with is they're talking about building apartments right outside of by one of the entrances of On Top of the World.
The main entrance.
The main entrance, and that's going to make it crazy busy with cars right there. And we're very unhappy that the owner of On Top of the World wants to do that, and a lot of people are very unhappy with that. But putting that aside, so far it's been pretty quiet. The pools are beautiful. And we could be busy night and day if we wanted to there.
Yeah.
How do you think those apartments would affect you? Is that a 55 plus
No.
apartment building?
See, if it was a 55 plus apartment building, I would be fine with it. I wouldn't be that happy, but I'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But what's happening, it's not. It's anyone can move in there, and probably young families will be the ones moving in there, because there's so many places to live for 55 plus and rent in the communities that probably only young people with young children will be there. But the main thing is that we're probably going to have to share a road to get down to 200, and it's already a crowd. Sometimes we already have to wait like twice the lights changing for us to get onto 200, which is the main road.
Wow.
And so if they put another 400, 500 cars there,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to make a big difference. So the owner of the community says that they're going to be leaving at different times than us and coming back at different times than us because they'll be working. But I don't believe any of that. I mean, I still think it's going to be a big and gigantic mess. Plus, it is a gated community theoretically. It's gated for cars, but it is not gated for people can just walk into our community. Just like on top of just like the villages. In the villages, you could drive right into a community. There might be a guard there, but they don't stop you.
Right.
So on top of the world has been a little bit better because when it's not that many people around, everyone with cars, they'll stop. But if you have a golf cart or you want to ride your bike in, you can do that. And it hasn't been as much of a problem, but now with that community going to be right there 2 feet away, not 2 feet, but very, very close, a 2-minute walk, right, they could just walk into our community. That's going to be really bad. And then the road that's out there is private. We pay for it. So we're going to need more security, and we're the ones that are going to have to pay for the security, not the person who's making money from selling the land, which is the owner of the property.
So they're trying to be like the villages, it sounds like, because the villages has apartments, but the apartments that the villages have are for 55 plus.
Oh, I
people.
wish.
This company does do 55 plus apartments, and maybe to appease us, they'll change their mode of selling there and make it 55 plus.
Right.
But I don't know
Although
that there's going to be a big market.
The property originally was zoned, because I went to the planning and zoning meeting, it was zoned for commercial. And we thought, great, more things that people could go to on their golf
Right,
carts.
because it's right, but it's between the sales office and the new hotel they have.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
That whole vacant
Yeah.
area there.
And I don't think there's going to be that much of a market because you could rent it on top of the world. You could rent a house or a villa for $1,500 a month or $1,600 a month, and it has a garage and all that kind of stuff. So why would you want just an apartment? I mean, it would be new, but it's very expensive to live in those apartments.
And there's no balconies, and there's no playground slated for the property.
Only a pool.
They're gonna have a dog park, a dog wash, and a car wash area, and of course a pool and a clubhouse that's open 24/7.
Right.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
Because they're not gated either, apparently. Anyone can go in.
Well, yeah, once the kids start getting a hold of it, that's
Exactly.
when.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, but talk about amenities. So on top of the world has the rec center, which is within kind of walking distance of our place. They're gutting the pool. It should be ready, I think, maybe next month. They put all new Marsite in, all new pumps and sanitation systems, chlorination.
I've
water.
walked to the clubhouse. You
Yeah.
can walk there from our house.
Right. And out in Longleaf, they're building another, I don't know, $18 million clubhouse for out there.
I saw that.
Yeah. So it's quite a big nut to crack, so you can understand why a person's got to make money. I'm not against it at all. Just do smart growth.
Right. Well, and be consistent with what you already have in place.
Exactly.
Right? So if you have this gated 55 plus community, and you want to kind of emulate the villages, then there you go. They have the apartments for 55 plus people as well. And it's my understanding that those apartments are pretty much full all the time. I think there's a waiting list for the lofts of Brownwood, they call it.
Do you know how much those apartments are per month? Are they expensive?
It's pretty expensive. It's like $3,000. $3,000 a month for an apartment, and it's
Yeah.
just rent and it's money out the window. You're
Yeah.
not gaining any equity or getting much in return for it. So, but I mean, it's successful there, so I would think it could be successful
Yeah.
over there and on top of the world.
I mean, I could see maybe some people want to move there for a year, see if they like the area before they
Right, and
purchase.
that's kind of the whole idea behind the lofts. You know, getting people in, looking at homes, buying a home.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think that's why they're a little expensive too, to encourage people to go ahead and buy.
Yeah,
Because you can pay less if you buy than if you
Yeah.
rent.
right.
And so I would kind of see that's why that's been formatted that way.
Yeah. The other thing we knew, taxes, real estate or whatever,
Oh,
real
they're
estate
bad.
would be higher than Tennessee, but they're more than double what we're paying. And we paid in Tennessee. We were in the county. We paid county taxes only. So they're hitting the new people hard to keep the infrastructure going and the fire department, police department, the hospitals, and all that. So we're at 1,748 square feet, and I think after Homestead we're at 2,500. We're in Knoxville, we were like at 1,200,
You were how much? 1,200?
about 1,200, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, 2,500. You know, in today's standards, pretty good.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just be ready for a shock.
Yeah, we got spoiled. Tennessee's cheaper than a lot of the places, so
Yeah.
that was a shock for us. But you know, my sister-in-law, I mean, people down even Fort Lauderdale who've been there for years and years and years,
Mhm.
they pay less than we do.
Right. It's just because they paid less for their house. It's the millage rate versus the
Well,
the
also,
appraised value.
there's a 3% cap.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, your taxes can't go up more than 3% a year, year after year. And you know, the beautiful thing too is if they sold down there, they can port
Right. It's
their
transferable.
taxes. Yes, what they're paying down there going up to here.
Yeah.
So, but you're coming from another state.
Right.
That's not good.
Yeah, it didn't fit in with you. So you plan on staying there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah, yeah. I like I said, overall, I mean, every place is gonna have some things that are good and some things that are bad. Overall, we're very happy there for right now. I'm not planning, and you know, my younger brother, probably, you know, a few years, he's looking to maybe buy, and I'm gonna try to talk him to get in on top of the world, because it'd be nice to have family
Yeah.
in there, and yeah, so we're happy.
Another thing, we're getting painted too. We're slated to be painted.
Oh, good.
So
Okay.
that's included in our HOA.
Right.
There's no upcharge for that.
Every 7 years, I
Yes.
think it is.
Yeah.
They paint your house.
And I guess if we want to change the color, there might be a $75 work order fee or whatever to change the color. They give you a palette of colors that they've selected to paint places with. Same with the roofs. We picked our roof, and there was no charge to change the color.
Yeah.
Which at first, that's the thing with On Top of the World. If you don't get an answer you like, just go back to customer service. Another 2 days later, get a different person, and you'll get a different story. It's kind of sad because it's such a big place. I believe there's, Ken said there's 4,500 residents now, or no, 14,000 I think residents, and in build out there'll be 45,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think there was going to be that many.
Yeah, just if you've been out at Longleaf, it must be what 1,000 lots out there getting ready to.
Well, I always heard that they were at build out. They were going to have 10,000 homes. That's what I've always heard.
Yeah, that's the story that keeps changing, because I've heard people say that. When I moved here, they said 9,000. Then they made it up to 12. Now it's up to 15,000. So if he can keep selling them, he's got the land. I thought I heard it was 17,000 acres, but the land development guy for Colin said it's 3 miles by 5 miles. And
But it's funny because there's places right in the community, I mean, On Top of the World, I haven't even seen yet. I mean, I've seen most of it, but you know, my friend just got a golf cart, and we like to drive around and look at things.
Right.
And you know, I'm seeing a lot of new neighborhoods that I thought I didn't know this was here. I didn't know this was here.
Yeah.
I mean, this place is huge.
Oh yeah, well they have Wayborn Landing,
Yeah.
right, and then they have Indigo East
Yes.
over there, and then they have Candler Hills, which
Yes.
is kind of an area for the more expensive homes.
Yeah, I was looking the other day, there's some up to like $750,000,
Yeah.
755,000, new.
You know, and that's kind of unusual because when I first started selling there, I mean, if you even hit 500 on the golf course,
Yeah,
I mean, that was
Yeah.
kind of way up there for,
yeah,
and so I always compared homes in the villages for those homes that you paid 500 for on the golf course, and there's about a $300,000 difference. You'd pay about 800,000 in the villages for the same, if not even maybe a substandard, because I think those estate homes that they have over there run around 2,800 square feet. They're all 3-car garages,
Yeah.
so they're pretty big homes. And then put that on top of a golf course lot. You know, if you transferred a 2,800 square foot home to the villages on the golf course, yeah, you're close to $1 million, and even now today, easily over $1 million.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, it's the other people, if people don't know, I guess on Top of the World has 3 golf courses. I guess one of them's private, where you have to be invited by
Right.
the homeowner, and the other 2, I guess, are semi-public or public. I don't play golf,
Mhm.
and I think I heard like the average round's $90.
Really?
Yeah,
$90?
90.
Well, we don't know for sure. 'Cause we
No,
don't play.
I have our friend down the street, he plays golf.
Oh.
But
Wow.
he gets the package, I don't know if you pay $2,000 a year or something or other, and it's unlimited golf or
Right,
something
yeah.
like that.
I know you can join the country club and, get a country club membership
Yeah,
where, so, all right. Well, I appreciate you coming in
Thank you.
and kind of sharing with everybody about, On Top of the World and the kind of the unit that, that you're in.
mm-hmm,
And I always, when I'm pulling up the map of On Top of the World, you can see it's real green. Like
Yeah.
you're saying, you have that whole canopy of oak trees
yeah,
that are in the older areas, so when you're kind of looking at those, you can definitely designate, those areas of
Mhm.
attached units because of all the
Yeah.
oak trees.
Now we are a end unit, so we have only attached to one home.
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard the slightest peep from that, because we have very thick walls. Our places are built very well, from what I've been told. But we have very thick walls, and that person's, if they have their music playing, they're blasting it. I can't hear it in my house.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So they're actually block walls.
right,
And
Yeah.
I think they probably are even filled, I would imagine, just for sound suppression
mm-hmm,
between each unit. I have been up in the attics or looked up in the attics, and I can see the whole firewall, they call it, up in the attic, where you can't cross over into somebody
Right.
else's unit.
mm-hmm,
But also if there was a fire couldn't jump over to yours. But it is a block wall going all the way up. So
yeah.
yeah, very nice, very safe. So
It's a good value where we live.
We think.
It's a good value at the other places too, but
we haven't
more
talked.
I guess per square foot we're cheaper.
You have a golf cart?
No,
No, but my friend does now.
Okay.
I have an electric bicycle, that's enough
Ah, there
electricity.
you go.
He does. He uses it a lot to go to places.
Nice. Go to the square.
Yeah,
Yeah, but if he has a doctor's appointment, he has his doctor. He could ride his bike to it, his electric bike, and sometimes he has a photography club. He's in the photography club,
Oh, nice.
so he'll ride his bike there,
You
so
have
I
to
can
give
have
me some
access to the car.
pointers.
okay.
Yeah, because
Mid-drive is the way to go.
we just have one car.
What about Shalom Park?
Love Shalom Park.
Love it.
Shalom Park is beautiful.
You have a lot of events that go on there, right?
Yeah, but we don't, not really big event type people. I guess we just haven't, maybe we'll go to some of them. But we just love to go walking. Because there's a large percentage of the park when you go walking that's in the shade.
Yeah.
And,
Mhm.
That's really good.
A lot of
like it
trees
there. And
there.
it's very pretty. we go there a lot and we're not bored with it because it's so big that, we just love it there.
I believe it's 50 acres, and I guess Colin has set up the foundation to maintain it in perpetuity or whatever, and Robert Colin is over that. That's his baby, amongst other things.
Gotcha. What about World Equestrian Center? You been there?
Yep.
That's a must take too for people when guests come to town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Must see. Yeah.
Yes.
It's really nice.
Yeah, and they're
Yellow Pony over there,
Mhm.
and
yeah,
Stirrup
right.
Restaurant.
Yeah, and they're expanding like crazy. I understand they got another hotel
I saw that.
coming
yeah.
up in the front part of the property.
Yeah.
400 rooms, I guess.
Well, yeah, we also have Silver Springs, which is beautiful,
Yeah.
and it's what is it, like 25 minutes to get
Right.
there from our house.
Yeah.
And so we have a year pass, so we could go there for free.
Stay for
It's
it.
only like $2 a person to get in, but
So are you talking about Silver Springs or Rainbow Springs?
Silver Springs, but we
So Rainbow
also go
Springs
there
is
to
pretty close
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
we've been to both.
Oh, nice.
We really
Oh,
like
so
those.
the attraction, yeah, the Silver Springs attraction. Yeah, that's pretty neat
It definitely
over
is.
there.
Yeah, we could take that boat ride and a glass bottom boat ride and
Yeah.
see the manatees, and
That's
that's
historic.
fun. Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. It is.
See the monkeys over there? Did they ever?
I've never
see any
seen the
We
monkeys?
haven't gone that now. We
But
haven't
people,
gone that far on the boat.
I
There's
always
two-
see pictures of monkeys on Facebook that
Okay.
people
Yeah.
took over there, but I personally have not seen it.
Yeah.
And of course, we're not that far from Gainesville. There's a lot of activities to do in Gainesville, culturally speaking.
Right.
They have a museum, and we have an art museum that's really nice. And Gainesville has a science museum and butterfly park.
Yeah.
That's very, very nice.
Yeah, I've been to the butterfly. It's beautiful. What do they call it? It's not an apiary.
The
that's
Florida
an
State
apiary.
Museum, Natural Museum.
Yeah, it's some kind of.
In Gainesville.
Yeah.
And then the malls are far away.
No.
No.
The Heathbrook Mall is pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Paddock Mall.
Paddock Mall and then
he-
Heathbrook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been to Crystal River or Homosassa?
No, not yet.
Because that's just
Yeah.
down 200.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've done a lot of traveling since we moved there, just
Cruising.
because of the pandemic. We couldn't travel at all,
Right.
and so then we were moving. So once we kind of got settled in, the past year and a half, we've done a lot of Maine traveling. And On Top of the World has a travel club that we went to Panama, the country,
Central America.
Central America.
wow.
Yeah, with the 16 people from On Top of the World, we all went, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Big
So,
family.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never, like I say, I've never been so busy. I had to actually break out my cell phone and start using the calendar there, put stuff on that. I was used to just put it on a paper calendar, but there's so much, and you're running around and someone calls you and says there's another meeting or whatever, and you just whip out your phone and see if you're available.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I belong to a weight loss club that has like 30 people in it, and that's really nice.
Right.
And it's cheaper than Weight Watchers. It's $5 a week, so it's just, and that's just for their little $5 a month. I mean, not $5 a week. It's $5 a month, and we do a lot of things. It's a really great little group. There's a lot. Like I said, any type of activity that you want to do, you can pretty much just do it there. There's dinner clubs, there's newcomers clubs, there's, tons of parties always going on. You can't be bored.
And we're one of 2 retirement communities in the nation that has a train room, model railroad club room.
Oh yeah. That's
He's
right.
into that.
18 by 30, it's unbelievable.
Wow.
If you want to see it when they're there, make sure you see it and have the guy turn on everything, and it's unbelievable.
Or call Mark, he can let you in.
We actually have a guy that does the electronics. He's an actual retired rocket scientist.
Really? So he's a real rocket scientist.
Yeah. He programs all the little mini computers that run this stuff. It's
So it sounds kind of like the Villages.
Yeah.
They say you can be as busy as you want
Yes.
to be.
Exactly.
And they have all the clubs and everything, so you're probably not really missing out
No, because we have live entertainment every Friday and Saturday night. The villages have it every night, and we just have it 2 nights a week.
Yeah.
But 2 nights a week for me personally is enough.
I don't think anybody's going to go every night anyways.
Right.
Yeah, you know, that's available here. So, but
But-
they do have a lot of people here. They got to kind of split it up, you know.
Yeah.
So they probably need to run it 7 nights a week just to,
Yeah.
you know, just to kind of keep everybody,
Thin out the crowd.
because you don't want to condense it too much.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Any last words you want to give us? Or I really appreciate it. You're our second, what would you call this, episode?
Yeah.
You're our second episode, so we appreciate you coming all the way from on top of the world. And
All I can say is Ira's a cool cucumber. He gets the job done. At closing, we had a problem with washer and dryer missing. The man didn't flinch. He just got on the phone, and the next thing you know, I had a washer and
there
dryer.
they come.
So thank you, Ira.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you
Like,
mentioned
where's
that.
the washer and dryer?
Yeah, exactly. Wait a minute. Bring that back.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you coming in.
They will.
All right. All right, folks. So stay tuned for our next episodes. We're going to try to do one once a week for right now. And as this becomes more and more popular, I think we'll get more and more people want to come in and share with you, you know, some of their unique experiences and different communities, different aspects, stuff like that. So we want to try to keep this interesting. And if you have any suggestions, we would love to have your suggestions. Also, if you'd like to volunteer to come in and sit with us and have one of our podcast episodes, we would love to have you. So just reach out to us. You can email me at ira@imrealty.org or Blakely, BLAKELEIGH, at imillerrealty.org. We would love to hear from you. You can call or text as well, 352-204-9026. So thanks so much for watching. We hope to see you in our next episode.